What's up guys, this is Ultimate iDevice Vids, and today in this video we're going to be doing a battery drain test between every iPhone 13 model. So the 13 Pro Max, the 13 Pro, the 13, and the 13 mini. And as usual, a few things before we get started. Night shift, true tone, and auto brightness are disabled on all four of these devices. And also for the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max, we are going to be using the 120 Hz display refresh rate capability throughout this test. The limit frame rate toggle on the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max is disabled, meaning that, once again, the display refresh rate can go up to 120 Hz depending on what you're doing. This is the way these devices are configured straight out of the box, so that's how we're going to leave it throughout this test. And the battery health on all four of these devices is listed very high across the board, and they're all running the very same version of iOS 15. And the brightness on all four of these devices is set as close to the same as I could get using a light meter, and the volume is turned down on all of them. And with everything ready to go, we're going to go ahead and turn off the power strip that these devices are connected to, and we'll get rid of the cables. And we'll start off with 1 hour of YouTube video streaming. So we're going to load up the very same YouTube video on all four of these, all full screen and at 1080p quality. And as you may be noticing, since I just ran this test on the 13 Pro Max a few days ago for another video, we're using the same footage as a point of reference in this video on the far right side of the screen, as there's no point in running the exact same test on the 13 Pro Max again. And checking in after a full hour of YouTube video streaming, the 13 mini is at 99%, the 13 is at 99% as well, the 13 Pro is at 97%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 100%. So next, we're going to head on over to Instagram for 1 hour of looking at stories and posts. For the first 10 minutes, we're going to be looking at stories, and for the remainder of the hour, we'll be scrolling through posts. And as usual, I just want to take a moment to say that, as always, there's a variety of varying factors that contribute to how your battery life is going to be. Factors like what you do on your device, the age of the battery in your device, any processes that you might have running in the background, the brightness of your screen, cell signal strength, etc. all play a big role in how your battery performance will be. And of course, I'm controlling as many of these variables as I can to get the most accurate results. As I said earlier, the brightness is set as close to equal as I could get. There's also no SIM cards in any of these phones to create a level playing field in regards to cell signal strength drainage. So you should definitely keep in mind that in the real world, results can vary all over the place. And even in a hyper-controlled test like this, there's always going to be variables that throw each device a little bit off. So rather than interpreting these videos as hyper-detailed percent point by percent point analysis, you should interpret these tests as just gauging overall battery performance of these devices in regards to one another. And checking in after an hour of Instagram, the 13 mini and 13 are tied at 92%, the 13 Pro is at 91%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 95%. So with all four devices continuing to perform very well, we're going to head on over to Minecraft for 1 hour of playing the game. And something else worth mentioning is that as of recording this video, all the iPhone 13 models are still very new devices. So some App Store applications may need to be updated to be fully optimized for the new iPhone. So it is possible that things can actually get better as time goes on in regards to battery performance and performance in general on the new iPhones. So just something to keep in mind. And a few observations during the first round of Minecraft on these devices. For whatever reason, the 13 Pro, again on the first round of Minecraft right now, I noticed a little bit of lagginess when playing the game. Nothing huge, but definitely noticeable. I assume this is just a random one-off glitch. And also, as usual, when playing this, whenever I run any of these tests on pretty much any device, all the devices do get pretty warm when playing Minecraft. I noticed, though, the 13 mini seemed specifically a little bit warmer than the others. But don't get me wrong, they were all pretty warm. And checking in after an hour of Minecraft, the 13 mini is at 61%, the 13 is at 69%, the 13 Pro is at 64%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 73%. So with the 13 Pro Max in the lead, followed by the standard 13, we're going to move on to 1 hour of web browsing. So in Safari, we're going to be loading new web pages and scrolling through web pages for an hour. For the first 30 minutes, we're going to be doing this on apple.com, and for the second 30 minutes, we're going to be doing this on theverge.com. And after a full hour of web browsing, the same trend on all four devices is continuing, with the 13 Pro Max in the lead, followed by the standard 13, followed by the 13 Pro, and then by the 13 mini. Next up, we're going to head on over to Subway Surfers for 30 minutes of playing the game, and this leaves the 13 mini with 46%, the standard 13 with 56%, the 13 Pro with 51%, and the 13 Pro Max with 62%. Next, we're we're going to head over to Temple Run for 10 minutes of playing the game with ads appearing in between each round. This leaves the 13 mini with 44%, the standard 13 with 54%, the 13 Pro with 49%, and the 13 Pro Max with 61%. Next, we're going to move on to 1 hour of PUBG. So we're going to open up the application here, start a match, and play for 1 hour. And after a full hour of playing PUBG, checking in, the overall same trend is continuing yet again, with the 13 mini at 26%, the 13 at 41%, the 13 Pro at 34%, and the 13 Pro Max at 50%. So with the first round of the battery test complete, we're going to head back to YouTube for another hour of video streaming. Once again, the very same video at 1080p quality, full screen for an hour. And after a full hour of YouTube checking in, the 13 mini is at 20%, the standard 13 is at 34%, the 13 Pro is at 29%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 45%. And we're going to move on to our second hour of Instagram. Once again, for the first 10 minutes, we'll be looking through stories, and for the remainder of the hour, we'll be scrolling through posts. This leaves the 13 mini with 12%, the standard 13 with 28%, the 13 Pro with 23%, and the 13 Pro Max with 38%. So we're going to head back to Minecraft for our second hour of playing the game, and 8 hours and 6 minutes into the test, the 13 mini dies. And a little while later here, at 8 hours and 30 minutes in, the 13 Pro dies as well. And with the 13 Pro Max and the standard 13 being the only devices left standing, we'll close out the remainder of this hour of Minecraft. And checking in, the standard 13 is at 3%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 17%. So we'll head on over to Safari for our second hour of web browsing. And 9 hours and 7 minutes into the test, the standard 13 dies. And closing out the remainder of the hour on the 13 Pro Max, and checking in after that, it's at 10%, as you can see. So next up, we're going to head back to Subway Surfers for our second 30 minutes of playing the game. And this leaves the 13 Pro Max at 7%, as you can see. So we'll move on to our second 10 minutes of Temple Run, once again with ads appearing in between each round of the game. And this leaves the 13 Pro Max with 5%. So we'll head back to PUBG for our second scheduled hour. And at 10 hours and 55 minutes into the test, the 13 Pro Max finally dies. And there you guys have it for the battery drain test. I'd say the entire iPhone 13 lineup has very satisfactory battery life across the board on all 4 of these models. And lastly, let's close things out with a 12-hour standby test. So this tests how well these devices are able to hold a charge while asleep. However, once again, this test also largely depends on a variety of factors. Once again, processes that you might have running in the background, notifications that you're getting on your device, cell signal strength, and just a whole host of other things. In this example, this is just a very, very controlled test where all these devices are connected to the very same Wi-Fi network. There's no SIM card in any of these devices, and the very same notification settings are configured on all 4 of them, as you can see. So with all devices charged back up to 100%, we'll go ahead and turn off the power strip once again, and we'll remove the cables, and we'll just put all 4 devices to sleep, and we'll start a stopwatch and check back in after 12 hours. And after 12 hours, the 13 mini is at 99%, the standard 13 is at 100%, the 13 Pro is at 98%, and the 13 Pro Max is at 100%. But alright everybody, that just about wraps it up for this video. If you guys are using any of these iPhones, or any other iPhone for that matter, let me know down below in the comments section how the battery performance has been for you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.